Fail fast, learn faster. They're the decade to trip, stumble, faceplant, and then stand up with a smirk that says, okay, now I know. Because here's the truth. The faster you fail, the faster you collect data. And data is gold. You launch a side hustle and it crashes, now you know what not to do. You ask someone out and get rejected, you just leveled up your resilience. You take a job that drains your soul, you learned what kind of work you'll never waste years on. Every quote-unquote failure is just a compressed lesson, one you couldn't have gotten from a book, a podcast, or even your smartest mentor. The real danger in your 20s isn't failing. It's stalling. It's playing small. It's waiting until you're ready, only to wake up at 35 realizing you spent your entire prime rehearsing instead of performing. Build strong relationships. Jobs change. Money fluctuates. Cities come and go. But the people you invest in, they're the ones who pull you out of a hole when life gets dark and celebrate you when it finally clicks. Strong relationships in your 20s aren't about knowing hundreds of people. They're about having a few real ones. The kind you can call at 2 a.m. without rehearsing your opening line. Opportunities flow through people, not job boards. Your next breakthrough might come from a friend, not a LinkedIn post. Mental health thrives on connection. Loneliness eats away at more 20-somethings than failure ever will. Trust compounds like interest. Show up consistently and the bond deepens in ways no app notification ever could. The trap is getting so caught up in chasing success that you let good people slip away. Careers can be rebuilt. Friendships once neglected often can't.
Take risks in love and career.
Later in life, the ground gets harder. Responsibilities pile up. Safety nets shrink. That's why this is the risk decade. In love, it means saying how you feel instead of sitting in silence. Asking them out even if your voice shakes. Walking away when you know you're being treated like a placeholder. Every heartbreak in your 20s is tuition for emotional intelligence. Painful, but priceless. In career, it means trying the job you're not 100% qualified for. Starting the side hustle that might flop. Moving cities. Pitching ideas that might get laughed at. You're building courage muscles you'll need for the rest of your life. The risks you take now won't always pay off, but the ones you don't take will haunt you harder. Later, you'll crave stability. But in your 20s, stability is often just another word for playing small. Travel and explore. When you're standing in a crowded bazaar in Marrakesh, smelling spices you can't name, you realize how small your problems back home are. When you get lost in a foreign city and no Google Maps can save you, you learn that resourcefulness is greater than comfort zone. When you sit with strangers and share food, despite not speaking the same language, you realize that connection isn't about words, it's about humanity. Travel in your 20s isn't about ticking places off a list. It's about getting humbled by how big the world is. Collecting stories that will make your 30s and 40s richer. Learning flexibility, courage, and curiosity in ways no classroom can teach. And here's the kicker. You don't even have to go broke backpacking across Europe. Exploration is a mindset. Sometimes it's a train ride away. Sometimes it's just saying yes to experiences you'd normally reject.
Don't rush milestones.
Your 20s are a weird decade. Half the people you know are getting married, buying houses, and having kids. The other half are still eating instant noodles at 2 a.m. and sleeping on a mattress on the floor. And here's the truth. Both are fine. Life doesn't run on a single timeline. It's not a race, and there's no universal scoreboard. The pressure to catch up to someone else's highlight reel is a trap that breeds anxiety, regret, and decisions you weren't actually ready for. Someone will land their dream job at 23, someone else at 43. Some relationships turn into marriage fast, others take a decade. Some people peak early, others build slow and steady. What matters isn't when you hit milestones, it's whether they're truly yours. Buying a house you can't afford, marrying because it's time, or forcing a career path just to keep up. All of that will cost you more than it gives. Your 20s should be about planting seeds, not harvesting crops. It's exploration time, trial and error, learning who you are when nobody's telling you what to do. So, don't compare, don't rush, don't let society's stopwatch dictate your moves. Because here's the secret nobody says out loud. Once the milestones arrive, they arrive fast, and you'll wish you had more time to just be 20-something. Document your life. You'll think you'll remember it all. You won't. Memories fade, details blur, whole years collapse into vague feelings of that was a tough time or those were the good days. That's why you should document your life. Write, journal, take photos, record voice notes, save little scraps of your thoughts. Not for Instagram, not for strangers, for you. Because one day you'll want to remember. The exact way your best friend laughed at 22. How scared you were before your first big leap. The feeling of your first apartment with bare walls and too much freedom. The stupid goals, the wild wild dreams, the heartbreaks that shaped you. It's not about nostalgia, it's about tracking your evolution. You'll see patterns, growth, lessons your past self buried that your future self desperately needs.
Limit toxic influences. Hang around dreamers, doers, and encouragers, and you'll feel pulled forward. Hang around energy drainers, manipulators, or the perpetually negative, and you'll find yourself stuck in the same swamp they're in. Toxicity isn't always obvious. It's not just screaming matches or backstabbing. Sometimes it's the friend who subtly belittles your wins, the coworker who lives to complain and drags you into their pit, the partner who never claps when you shine. Every hour you spend with someone who kills your energy is an hour stolen from building your future. Limiting toxic influences doesn't always mean dramatic exits or cutting everyone off. Sometimes it's just less access. Reduce their screen time in your life. Stronger boundaries. You decide what behavior is acceptable. Selective vulnerability. Not everyone earns the right to hear your dreams. Learn financial literacy early. The money habits you build now compound just like the money itself. If you learn how to budget, invest, and avoid lifestyle inflation early, you're not just surviving your 20s, you're setting up your 30s, 40s, and beyond to breathe easier. On the flip side, debt, impulse spending, and financial denial also compound, and that weight doesn't magically disappear with age. Think of financial literacy like learning a language. The earlier you pick it up, the more fluent you become without even trying. That means know how interest actually works, because your bank sure does. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Hint, your car is not an asset. Learn how to invest, not just save. Your future self will thank you louder than anyone else. Learn to say no. Invites, projects, ideas, relationships, favors, everyone wants a piece of your plate. And because you're young, hungry, and secretly afraid of missing out, you say yes. Yes to the extra shift, yes to the friend who drains you, yes to the date you knew was a bad idea the moment you agreed. But here's the truth. Every yes is a loan from your future self. Your time, energy, and focus are limited currencies. If you spend them on everyone else's priorities, you'll look up one day and realize you never funded your own. Learning to say no isn't about being selfish. It's about being selective. It's the quiet art of protecting your focus, your mental health, and your future opportunities. Think of it this way. Every no to the wrong thing is a louder yes to the right one. Prioritize health over vanity. Look good at all costs. Six-pack abs, jaw lines sharp enough to slice bread, Instagram aesthetics, and sure, nothing wrong with caring about how you look. But here's the catch. Vanity fades, health compounds. That crash diet, it'll wreck your metabolism. Those all-nighters, they'll age your brain faster than your face. That I'll deal with it later attitude towards stress, sleep, or injuries later will come sooner than you think. The truth is, nobody at 35 is bragging, "Man, I'm so glad I skipped sleep, lived on instant noodles, and ignored my mental health in my 20s. What actually pays off is building real strength over temporary aesthetic muscles. Sleeping like your body is a battery you don't want to fry. Eating like you'll need this same body at 50, not just at the beach next summer. Moving, stretching, and treating stress as seriously as money. Now, when you prioritize health first, vanity often takes care of itself. Fit, energized, clear-minded people look good because they feel good.